Present.
Trustee Franklin.
Present.
Trustee Poe.
Present.
Trustee McFadden.
Present.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Present.
Trustee Brooks.
Present.
Mayor Ruben.
Present. I do not see the Pledge of Allegiance on the agenda, but we're going to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to utilize the flag that's outside the door. Yes. What's the special? Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wow, it's good to see everybody. Absolutely. Slowly but surely. Okay, item C, public hearing and ordinance adopting the budget for all corporate purposes of the Village of University Park, Will and Cook County, Illinois, in lieu of the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on the first day of May 2021 and ending on the 13th day of April 2022. Now is our opportunity, item D, for general public comments. You have one, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I only received one public comment, one public hearing.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
It is dated November 17, 2021. Dear Mayor and Board of Trustees and Village Manager, I have several questions that I would like responses to. Number one, Mayor, can you please explain why you never respond to any emails I send, nor answer my phone? How are you the mayor and you don't respond to your constituents or organized groups? This is clearly a sign of disrespect, and I'm going to inquire, am I being disrespected? I have asked several times by email, can the baseball board please have in writing a detailed list of the renovations that are slated to be done with Craig Park? I have also requested several meetings to discuss this year's matters of Baldwin Park and Regal Farm Fields, and have been ignored as well. We're not emailing you for nothing. We need the information expeditiously so we can handle our business on this end. The deal with Clayco has been finalized, so why can't you be transparent for once and just send it over? Why would you, your secretary Claudia, or VME even request an increase in wages when you don't respond to the residents? These are all facts that can be proven. Number two, Board of Trustees, can each trustee please let us know if you have read the budget in its entirety, yes or no? In the case you didn't, 3 community groups got together to help you all and dissected it line for line and sent a certified mail copy to each of you. See below. Budget proposals, suggestions, revisions needed.
Can hear you.
Normal temperature.
Budget proposal, suggestions, revisions needed. Please let the record show that this proposed budget has been reviewed thoroughly by several community groups as well as concerned residents. We have found and noted many errors and missing information that need to be either added or corrected before this can be considered an official budget proposal. 2019, 2020, 2021 actuals should be provided for each line item that the board is proposing a budget for. We are asking that all board members please look over these attached documents in full detail. Please lend a hand to help our VM complete the budget correctly. It would be our hopes that no board member would resent this documentation for a budget hearing or consider approval for passing until all of these items are addressed and reissued to the President's Finance Committee reviewing. This document is an embarrassment to the entire village. You are receiving this certified document to ensure that each board member is notified of the concerns and aware of these areas and findings before the hearing and budget hearing is approved. Thank you, community group. Number 3, PM Ernestine. You have been given the same budget corrections documents as the trustees from a finance committee member, and you have been notified and asked several times since June 2021 to correct or address these budget concerns and have refused to respond. Why is that? Can you explain to us residents? Did you read your budget before you sent it out? And do you know the proper way to compile a budget? Because this isn't it. How are you qualified to be village manager?
Can't hear you.
How are you qualified to be village manager if you can't present a proper budget? Number 4, please be advised that if the Board of Trustees approve this budget as written, know that you will be in the news media tomorrow. As a village, we cannot continue with these low standards that has plagued us for many years. And no, this does not have to be a rush job for approval today or by December 31st. Last year's budget didn't get approved until March of this year. A breakdown of the budget and suggestions can be corrected was also sent to each trustee in addition to the above. We circled the items in person and wrote comments in the margins on the budget chart and then typed each item up as you see below and sent to each trustee. Concerned resident Robin Walker. Then she wrote the below doesn't need to be read. There were about 5 pages that she said does not have to be read. And just for the public, I did forward to the entire board the comments of Ms. Walker. That's the
So now, is the public coming to make comments or anybody?
I have a sign-up sheet.
Excuse me, did anyone sign the sign-up sheet that's gonna, Chief Kelly, does anyone sign in? Mr. Martin, someone coming, speaking?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, you coming up, anybody? Or Mr. Severs or somebody? Oh, here it is.
We really don't have any comments about the budget.
John Dilworth, Robin Walker.
Okay. Robin Walker? No, I'm sorry, Donnie Dilworth is the first one to sign.
Okay, so is this just public comments or is
It
this about
is.
the budget?
This is talk.
Budget.
Yes.
Budget.
Yes,
A budget question? Okay.
yes. This is a public hearing, yes.
Okay. Mayor Johnson. Okay, hello.
Hello.
As stated from the public, I'm Donna Gilbert, and as stated from the public comments, I had certain questions that I had sent over to the board and to the village manager several times as well. And I still have not received any answers to any of those questions. So if we can go over these questions that I have, that'd be great. Or do you have the answers, village manager E, to any of those that I sent over? I know you said you're going to be giving those questions, those questions answered at the last finance committee meeting that we had. And even though last month wasn't happened, you still was going to have those answers. So I just want to thank you first. Were you able to address those questions?
It depends on how the board wants to deal with it. Some of those questions were carried in the budget.
I'm sorry, you can't hear say it on my phone. I can't hear you.
Some of those questions were subjective, they weren't objective, and I was hoping that we were very specific on addressing issues. I am ready to address very specific kinds of questions you're asking on the budget, but some of those questions were more private-oriented, developed budget versus public budget.
Like which one? So which ones were you able to?
I don't have it in front of me now. I don't have it in front of me as we speak. No, I don't have it.
Okay, so first question that I have is, why isn't there any 2021 actuals on the budget? And also 2020, 2019, there's missing a lot of actuals on the budget as well. So how are we able to compare to get correct budget numbers without actuals to compare against?
First of all, I don't know where you're getting your information from, because on the budget that's been posted, we have it. And then I have a summary that's been completed by the auditors, actually, for 19 and for 20. We're currently completing 2021 and working, we have to start 21, 22, since 21, 22 budget actually began May 1. So to say that we don't have actuals, the budget actually provides a statement of actuals for 2019. When you said actually there's some missing, you know something our auditors don't know. I think we'd like to know, because what we have here is from the auditors.
Okay, from 2021, fiscal 2020 and 2021 ended April 30th, 2021. So I'm confused why we don't have any actual numbers for that time period, because that's way past the time. And usually the numbers that you give is, the information is given to the auditors.
Okay. First of all, ma'am, let me just say this. When I came in, we were behind several years in the audit. Several years in the audit. Okay. We had to do 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, and doing 19 and 20. So it's very unusual that you're asking me now actuals when we were in a lot of instances trying to, in order to determine what actual deficits were, trying to complete the prior years. But I can say that the budget you have actual 19 in terms of, and they have the actual 20, but we do not have as a part of this the 2021. When it is completed by the auditors, we then will have it. That's why budgets are what they are. The only thing we have is the prior years, but budgets are documents that we use as an acclimate to following, meaning that if it's not included in it, we don't get to expend it unless we come back to the board. So.
Okay, there are several things on the 2020, 2022 budget proposal that you're proposing, but there's no actual numbers for 2020 or 2021. So why are we projecting that you need money if you say that it wasn't on there or you don't have it? So if you're saying all the actuals that the auditors have gave is in the budget, then each line item should show 2019, 2020 actual numbers. If you're proposing to.
Ms. Dilworth, I do know how to complete a budget, and you're not listening to what I'm
I
saying.
am listening.
Well,
Just
then,
like
we
that.
don't have those concrete numbers. We can only go on the numbers as they were introduced and passed by the board until we get the completion by the auditor. I had hoped the auditing firm would be here tonight. So he's out here.
Well, you shouldn't be asking for that. Word be passed.
Are they able to respond?
No, no, not much.
They're not going to give you dollar for dollar. I mean, they don't have that too.
Right, well, it's not dollar for dollar. Okay, so let's go as in page 2. One of the questions I have is employee head tax. So the question is that I don't see that there's any type of increase, but we have new businesses that came to industrial park that it should project for an increase in that number. Are the Amazon, the Amazon that came here, are they receiving head tax? Are they being charged head tax? So, if they are, that's yes there?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I just saw your head shake up again.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's coming in our industrial park that doesn't meet the qualifications are getting head tax.
So is Amazon one of them that meet qualifications? And every,
Again, Mr. Dilworth, everyone in our industrial park currently that is.
okay, so they should, so that was my question, if they're here into the industrial park, why didn't we project an increase in the employee head tax if they're here? If that's bringing in over 1,000 employees, why isn't that number increasing? From 2019, it was 253, 2020, 275, and 2022, they said it's going to be 275 a year. Why isn't that increasing?
Could I just say one thing? First of all, it takes approximately 2 years before we start getting money. And if we have no money that's not coming in the budget, we don't put it in the budget.
It takes approximately 2 years.
2 years to start receiving those dollars from new TIP projects, so you're not going to see them in this budget. You're not going to see them in the budget. I'm telling you the way it's paid, because we're getting the dollar that comes from the TIP. TIP is not like a real estate tax. It's just not like a real estate tax. Like the project was approved and it's put over a year. We're going to start receiving the taxes in 2020.
Okay, page 3. Fines, circuit court, collection agency. When we look at the fines, circuit court, it's projecting $275,000 for the budget proposal. But when we look at 2020 to 2019 actuals, it was about $21,000 and $27,000. Why are we proposing over $250,000 increase?
Let me first explain to you about how these dollars come about. Every department does their budget, and they have estimates in terms of dollars based on activities within their department, of receipt of dollars, reduced amount of dollars, and this budget is not any budget that municipalities develop are not budgets that are penny by penny by penny. These are all estimates. These are all estimates, and we have to rely on some of the department heads to come up with these estimates based on anticipated revenue or reduction in revenue.
Okay, so for that number, a $250,000 increase, which departments are asking for that increase? How can you explain that when it was $21,000? Say, look at the actuals, right? We got $21,000 in 2019, $27,000 in 2020, and now we're $275,000?
Yes, those are the numbers that were given to us, and that's what we put in the budget.
That was just given to you? I mean,
The department. We don't create these numbers. They aren't just made up. Every set of numbers we get that directly affect the departments, we give them based on their anticipated receipts. I mean, I don't make these
So
numbers.
which department would be asking for that?
Ms. Dilworth, that's not a concern, it's a public concern. That's not going to help
It is.
us on.
conservative, you're saying this.
We're gonna be here all night, we have several departments, but I can say to you that those estimated figures come from department heads, and it's based on their usage, their contact with whoever is anticipating revenue, expenditures, and such, and we take.
These are fines for circuit court. So this is not a department. These are fines for circuit court.
I understand.
Okay.
And you can only estimate. You
Okay.
can only estimate. They can only estimate.
They can estimate a 250,000 acres. That's what you're trying to say. And then for the fines and collection agency, we have 7,800 for 2019, 4,000 for 2020, and then we went up to 26,000. So that's 20,000. So I'm just
Ms.
saying.
Gilbert,
Yes.
these figures come from the police department, and they get the information from the sources that we deal with. They
Okay.
deal with the courts, they deal with anticipate, these are estimates. Trying to get me to confirm it is not going to make it any better. These are just estimates.
Well, I don't see the department heads here for me to ask the question on why we're releasing for, because they're not here. I'm just wondering why I'm here. I don't see the department heads to ask the question on why they're asking for increases, and you're saying that was going, that's the police department. So Chief Wilson would have been able to answer that to say, okay, yes, this is what's happening. So that's part of us getting some type of clarification and information about why are we doing these, why is these numbers this way, to make us feel at ease that the numbers are correct.
Okay.
Okay. So on page 4, the before and after care program. I see the first round of the budget, it was taken out, the program was taken out, but I think it was added back in. Was it added back in?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I didn't see any revenue that was added back in.
Okay, if you look, you have
I
to, once
see
you
the
get in,
program, I see the program in expense, but I don't see where you added the revenue.
once you go through the budget, you'll see it. Once you go through it, they're all outlined.
But this is the,
Let's be courteous, this is that one speak, let's not talk each other, let's be courteous, let's
No
have
problem.
please.
but this is the revenue part that I'm talking about, so this is only revenue. I haven't gotten to the expense. It shows it in the expense section, but it doesn't show that it was added back in. The first round it was there, which is another 30,000 revenue that we received from the after-school program. But I see when you took it out, I don't see it being added back in. I don't think it'll be like the full 30,000, but
No.
there's no number.
And if we were to do that, we'd guesstimate on that.
Right, I'm just saying there's zero in there now, but we are going to receive revenue for that. Like I said, I think that was, since it was taken out the first one, I think it needs to be added back in to the revenue part. Right, should it?
We are dealing with an issue with the before and after school program now. We're trying to consummate how many anticipated participants. We don't want to over-increase the budget and end up with a deficit, so we're trying to get more concrete numbers. We have to, it will just become an income in that budget line item. When we audit it, it will show the income in that line item. Right now, they're trying to determine how many registrants they will be getting based on the class size, the number of participants, all that. They're working on that, so I couldn't give an exact number. I could have estimated just like I could have estimated the others, but we didn't.
Okay, but it is something that's transferred.
It's going to be something.
Okay. Also, we got the miscellaneous police fines, oversight of roadway permits. Those are showing big increases, but there is no actuals to say what it was previously. And of course, Chief Wilson is not here to answer those questions. So why are we asking for these increases when we don't have any actuals?
Increase in what? Which line item are you talking about?
Miscellaneous police fines, oversight, overweight permits.
Okay, we're looking at some increase. We've set up an account that will incorporate dollars in this particular fund. The chief has estimated based on the increase towards the end of the last year's budget. We don't have any actuals, but we know some of the dollars that have been going into that fund. So I can't even begin to answer because we don't know. As with any fines, you don't know if people will be more distraught and violate whatever to increase our income, or people will be more safety conscious. So you just have to estimate. That's a give and take. You're going to have to estimate. And I can't give you a concrete answer on this. Some of the questions you're asking me to be specific on, we can't be specific. I mean, it's very difficult for anybody to be specific on income. We can only estimate or guesstimate based on what's anticipated, or based on primarily some of the things that have been happening, or based on increase in employees we have, based on how many additional tickets you make. All of it would be guesstimates, and that's how it's going to be.
Excuse me 1 second. Mrs. Dearwood, this public section, even though we cannot limit the individual to 3 minutes to speak at this public hearing, but the total comments for public is 30 minutes. So we want to make sure that you give everybody an opportunity to address the people as they come to the podium. Right now, there's 14 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 30-minute public comment section. So just a little point of interest. So if you're not interested in letting anyone else speak, then you can continue on.
I understand. I thought the public hearing is saying from 6:45 to 8:45. Huh? This is the public, I just said the public hearing stays from 6:45 to 8:45. So, I don't know where.
No, that's it. I didn't hear that.
It's posted on the website. So if you look at the website, look at the calendar, it says 6:45. Had opportunity to address any of these questions to me through my calling or email, and I never received any response. So now you should, I'm not going to dismiss her now because I gave her opportunities to answer all of these questions.
I'm not going to censor you at all. Just let you know the ground. That's all. Just be
Okay.
honest with you.
I'm saying, okay, real estate tax, transfer tax, question was for that one, is, why would we increase that as well when we have new businesses as well? That's the same thing, where we increased our real estate tax from $1 to $3, but it's not showing the increases we get. And it was passed.
What was your question? Why did we question?
The real estate transfer tax, I think around 3 years ago, we changed the
2 years ago.
2 years ago, that it was switched from $1, I think, to $3.
$3.
Yeah, right. $3. And I don't see any increase that reflects that.
Well, the real estate transfer tax is based on, it's only commercial, industrial, it's not residential.
I know, we had commercial industrial.
That's right, but it's
But it
not,
doesn't show an increase, that's what I'm saying.
okay, but what we got was basically during the last budget year. So, and we kind of inflated it. This year, we utilized the same that we used for 2020 because with the project, the only other project that came in 2021 that made a dent in our real estate taxes, because if you knew in 1920, Amazon started, 19 and 20. So 2021, actually this year, 2021 ended April 30th, and then we had Carvana come in. So the real estate taxes, we're looking at Carvana primarily in real estate taxes. So it's increased based on who we anticipate to receive sales taxes. But Carvana was the one we received the dollars for in this budget.
Right, but I'm saying it doesn't show, in fact, even Amazon, that there's an increase.
Amazon,
In the real estate tax.
Amazon budget period is up. We got their taxes at the onset of their transfer status. When we sold the property to them, we in fact got that money, and it was incorporated in the fiscal budget ending 2021. So Carvana is the only one you're going to actually see in 2022 that we've actually got money for as of now.
I understand you saying that, but it doesn't show that, and the numbers are the exact same as 2020.
Yeah, but the point is, we
That you're
inflated,
projecting.
we didn't, that's not what we got from Carvana, we inflated it. We used the same amount that we got from, approximately from Amazon on Carvana, in anticipation of that.
Okay, on page 5, we have scholarship, donation, and donations. Why is that all empty? I know, I believe the village receives scholarship donations from Hill County and other places. Why is it in the donation revenue anyway?
You said, why, this is the same that we've been here for years.
I understand.
And it never changed. It never changed, whatever they,
Do you receive donations for scholarship?
no, we don't.
Do you receive donations? And just,
We receive donations, donors specifically tell them what's to be used for. Yes, we do receive donations.
okay,
So
so
we earmark them in that budget line item. Whatever they say it's for, we put it in that budget line item. Like, for example, the mayor's office, a special event, who they sustain their budget. When donors get it, we put it strictly in that line item and nowhere else.
what line item is that? This one says donation special events, and it has nothing here. So which line item? Okay.
If you, that's why I say you have to go to the budget, go to the actual department, go to the department, go over to the department. And you'll see the category which place it is. So you gotta, see, you're doing this summary in isolation, but you go to the department, various departments, and you'll see the line item where certain things are done. They may have different names than what you're looking at.
But it says donation.
It's supposed to be on
Special
that.
events. So donations should be donations, and it should be in that
Well,
category.
you have to also look at the account number. Look at the account number.
I don't know how to know, but
Well,
I have it.
you have to look at the account numbers as it relates to budget line.
That's how we know that these are donations. If you're saying you're gonna put it somewhere else, how do you know that these are donations? The donations should go to the donation spot.
Mr. Dilworth,
Uh-huh.
down at Deadburn, one of our local residents is the one who provides the funding for the scholarships.
Right.
So it's never actually been in our budget, it's always a donation, and they take the applications and provide the scholarships that way. So you would never probably see that in our budget, I can't remember that.
Okay, well, that's the scholarship.
Yeah.
That's fine, that they, the Will County, Money Township, counties that are ready from them. That's
No,
fine.
Mrs. Deadburn, you said to me.
Oh, so this is
Yes,
just for
yes.
her. Okay. If she specifically does it herself, but that's still I thought it was a donation to the village, where you all
It's
present.
a donation, it's a donation to the recipients of the
So
scholarship.
we don't get in, that's why I mentioned earlier.
For the scholarship part, that's,
So I
thank
say,
you for that.
yes, directly to those individuals.
Okay, but the other donations,
Are in those line items that they're designated and not under this category. Not under this category.
is designated as donation with other exceptions.
Look in the department, yes, look under Mo's department, look under Mo's, special events. Those dollars do not come from basically general fund dollars, they come from donated dollars. So when they send the money, we put them directly in the fund, that's the fund line item. That's how they sustain their line item budget.
Okay, the next, do y'all want to go with that?
So we're at 6 minutes. Does anyone else wants to come up? Mrs. Moore?
Yeah, I'm going to come up on that.
Okay. And I thought that, I just get Reverend's part.
Mrs. Moore?
No, I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Comment before Mrs. Walker comes up?
Okay. Keep it going.
Where, Mrs. Walker?
So basically, I'm Robert. Basically, like I said in the letter, Donna is kind of saying it nicely, but the budget, the line items don't even add up correctly. Like, it's not done right. Even if the missing, first of all, too much missing information and what is there is not even added up right. So the complete budget just needs to be redone over. That's all I'm asking, to look at it, go through the suggestions, because we went through this several times, hours, different committees, and read through it. it is not done correctly. That's it. You just gotta go through each thing, it needs to be appropriately put, where the items need to be put, so that everybody can understand. You can't just say, I get that Ms. B is trying to explain everything, but you can't, it needs to be physically there. If you don't have any actuals, how are you gonna ask for a budget? You can't, you going off of things that you spent the prior year, and you're asking for that funding for this year. You need to have something to go off of. So I don't understand any of that, what you're talking about. It needs to be actual then before you ask for money in the future. So if that stuff is not available, you need to wait and pass the budget later when you have the information. There's no other way around that. So I'm confused about how anybody else is not seeing this. So just take the time out and look through it and just fix the budget and then come back with it. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, one second.
No,
Mr. Walker, please don't interrupt, please be courteous, please don't jump out.
I want to get my.
Just for the record, Mr. Walker,
Uh-huh.
that budget has been posted all close to 3 months now. There has been plenty of opportunity over the last couple of months for anybody to come down and sit down and have opportunity to discuss it. So I'm just letting you know that it has been made available close to 3 months, if not 3 months.
That's her concern, is because she's been telling us that she's been sending it. And we've been waiting on Ms. E to address that and have not. So that's the reason why I'm
I
sending it
understand.
to the board, so that everybody can know.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. And it's just out of respect. What I ask for you, Mayor, is just to respond back. I don't want to sit and keep typing emails, but if I'm not getting a response back from you, it's a problem. You are the mayor, you're the village manager.
Okay.
It's your job to respond back to emails.
Let me just stop you. Let me just stop you right there for 1 second. Because I wasn't going to respond, but I am going to respond now.
Okay.
Because I just looked at my emails, and I only seen one email that was November 3rd regarding Craig Park. And the other email, I don't know anything about. There's not anything in my search history. So if there is some reason that maybe I didn't get them, unfortunately, that's not the case, because I don't ignore my residents. There's not a resident in this community that I have turned my back on, shown and said I would not be with. As you know, I met with you and Trustee Jenkins just recently. So to make these statements and to castrate me and to say that I'm ignoring you and not responding to your emails is not actually factual. So we can get on the same page. I just did a complete search. Robin Walker popped up 2 times.
Right. I
So
sent 3 emails.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, so
Let's not make the assumption that I'm ignoring you, because that is not the
Well,
case.
it
Okay?
is, well,
That is not the
it is,
case.
and only because you just said you've seen 2. You have Claudia, which is your own personal secretary.
No, she's mine and the board's.
Well, whatever, so my thing is that nobody sees any of these emails, so you got you and her, and neither of you seen the email. So you knew I would be in contact with you because you asked me to send you things.
I'm not asking you to send me anything.
In the meeting that we had with the.
But we're not going to get into this stuff. You know,
No,
if you want to sit down and meet again, I'll be glad to meet again, but we're here for this budget hearing.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
not
was
addressing that
asking
stuff.
for. If you didn't respond, so can you please just respond to my email? And then I'm calling if you guys don't answer the phone. I'm leaving messages. So if you want to appear to anybody that you're being ignored. Okay, so just,
Not the case.
it's just respect, it's a respect thing that it's not right.
And I have an open door policy, so if you have any concerns, you don't have to wait till a public section. You know, as you said at the other meeting, I'll be glad to sit down with you, so
Okay.
no problem whatsoever.
Thank you.
All right. Mildred Morgan?
Mayor, can I just say that this budget does in fact have to be completed by the end of December, according to the state last year.
We're good.
Okay, but I was correct, because last year we did complete it prior
Yes.
to December.
Mayor, I hope that you do not let this village manager rush you. These are our tax dollars. And we had 3 different communities, people, groups of people that went through this thoroughly. And I'm not going to ask her anything because she got an answer for everything.
Absolutely.
An answer for everything. I want to talk to the trustees. Trustees, I was awfully disappointed
when Joe Miller said, I just got this packet at 408, I haven't had a chance to read it. So that means you all got it about the same time. But yet you still, you voted aye. If you keep listening to this lady, you'll say, yeah, vote aye because, geez. She goes on and on, she knows everything. Let me go into this. I looked at the transfer stamp back a couple of years ago. That was voted on. How come the money does not reflect? How come there's no actuals? My questions are repetitive. How come the actuals don't exist in this budget? But yet still she says, Mayor, this got to be sent in. Don't y'all remember being rushed like this before? By Mr. Good, excuse me, Mayor.
Okay.
By Mr. Good. He bum rushed you all and made you all vote for something because he had a shipment coming in and he's going to lose the shipment. So we need this done tonight. Don't you all remember that? Let me ask this.
I just wish you
Because of COVID.
budget, please.
All right. Because of COVID. Because of COVID. Who's going on their trips? This lady over here got you all, she done bumped you up. I know how you like her. She done bumped you up to $5,300 from 43, 1,300. She done bumped you up to, you can spend as much as $5,300. Who's going on trips? Let me ask you this. How come the actuals are nothing shows under 2019?
COVID.
Who went? Y'all all went to Texas.
That was prior to COVID.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
I got the information, Joe, you know that. But only one person, I wonder who is Trustee Fact, went on a trip, 4,000 something, just in 2019. How come the actuals doesn't show or nothing? No, look on page 6. Nothing shows under 219. You went on trips. Where's the cost of that? But yet and still, you skip on over. She done bumped you up. Well, you can spend $5,300. And you can go all downtown to Island and all of that. What I suggest is the trustees, it be knocked down to $2,300. That's reasonable. You know, we even talked about that during our meetings. Why not pay for your trip as you go? Stop giving you all this big sum of money, and you can go if you want to, or pass it on to somebody else, another trustee. Why all of that? Do we have money?
Well, I can't pass it on,
We
Bill.
ain't gonna ask her.
You can't pass that on, Bill.
You know that. You know that. Let me just say
Listen,
this.
Bill,
Let me just
it's
say
vitally
this.
important for all of our elected officials to get as much training, continuing education as possible. It helps really build relationships.
I saw pictures of the training things,
With-
trustee that fact. I saw all the training.
Okay, but let's address this budget because actually
Okay, we talked about how come the trustees, their budget, they go spending money, training money, because COLAs don't exist. How come it can't be knocked down to 2,300? Because when you don't have the money, you have to operate under what you have. We don't have it. Mayor, let's knock you down from almost 10,000 to 5,000. Because, you know, COVID is here. Remember COVID, y'all? Another thing. Talk about moles. How come I see a $10,000 check that we receive annually, the 1st of April? Why is that in moles?
see $10,000 check. Midwest Custom Cabinets.
Normal temperature.
But it's in the moles. The last one we received, but it's in moles. Why is it in moles? Along with all the other donations? Don't understand that.
That's where it was designated.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. That gentleman, and I know that gentleman, he would come here each and every year almost. Last time he was here, that I remember, was when they talked about head tax. He came here, and he's a little bit heartbroken because he donates each and every year like clockwork, $10,000 to this village.
And every mayor has the discretion of which way they're going to spend the money. if I'm not mistaken.
So it goes to Lowe's? You wanted it to go to Lowe's? Okay, I understand there. But, this,
Yeah, it usually went to special events anyway, so it's just a different name, so what's the difference?
all throughout, Lowe's, looking at Lowe's right now, 2019, 20, 21, I don't see nothing. Where, expenditures, oh Lord, expenditures, how come we don't see the expenditures under Lowe's? How about consecutively, there was 5 car shows, movie night, consecutively. No, let me stop looking at you. Let me look at the trustees. Trustee Franklin, 5 consecutive car shows. This past summer, 5 consecutive in a row. How about all of the parties and stuff? Golf. Where does that money come from? Where does that go? Where does that go to? How come I don't see expenditures? How come I don't see revenues for that? Ms. Lewis, you're smart, and I know that because I knew you were your team trustee. What about? Do you see these things? Trustee Shirley? Yes. Do you see these things? I have got to know. I'm so glad to have this opportunity. I want to thank you all. And do you really want to talk about you to this point?
Let's not castrate, please.
Okay, I know, I'm just expressing myself because it's true. Anytime I put in 40, 726,
Budget,
40.
budget hearing, public hearing, budget.
Trustee
We
Cheryl,
got a few minutes and 30 minutes.
okay. Trustee Cheryl, do you not see, have you looked through and do you fully comprehend the budget?
I do.
Do you? And you agree with it? You agree with it? And all of your own understanding. Because here's what I see. I see that, this is still on the budget. I see where all of you guys are, it appears, you're courted into understanding and comprehending different things that goes on in this village. Because why you go along and say, and some of you all, I am so disappointed in, because you were raised here. So disappointed. And I just want to put this connection that you turn your backs on the residents and you go along with what the common denominator is, the village manager. You go along with what this person is saying and doing. You know, the only thing that I ask of you, and here, all of us, the only thing we're interested in, we're not into no political aspirations. We're not into getting a job here. We just want a clean, safe village.
Absolutely.
And our money is not going to that. Why does millions and millions of dollars come into this community, but yet still, I don't see it? Am I seeing one?
Just keep on waking up, Mr. Ward. You'll see the
Am I
positive.
seeing one?
You'll see the positivity.
Because I don't see it. How come there's still a dead tree that's been laying out there? Why?
Oh, I hate
Why
that.
is there still dead trees? This lady said the highway was going to be full of fish.
Budget. Mrs. Morgan, and as you go back, you'll see, I just want to address one question before Mrs. Trust comes up. This is our last person that seems like in the public comment. But let me just tell you something, for the record, and let you know the challenges that my administration, this new board has had.
You don't see that same song the other day?
Listen, you call me on my private phone, you're going to get it. I'm going to put this on the public record because people really need to know the facts. We walked into this office May 14, 2019, 6 years behind the audits. No tips closed, no bond debt paid off, no streets repaired. Nothing was actually being done. As a trustee, I sat here for 12 years. All right? So when it comes to getting things done and seeing how things are progressing, to sit here and put bad karma out there is not the right thing. What actually I would think would happen is that our residents do see that that progress was being made. 98 bond closed, 2002 bond closed, till foreclosed, all the tax somebody's paid off. 5.5 years of.
If she would give me
Are you
the
gonna be
4
finished?
years, if she would give me the 4 years,
If you're gonna
then I can agree with you. But if I cannot see,
Can
if
I
I
finish?
don't have tangible proof as to what you're saying now, you know, and I've said to so many people,
You're not gonna
I
let
do
me
not
finish?
go by word of mouth. Give me tangible proof.
Okay.
That's why I'm disappointed. Because I asked for 4 years, and you don't give the 4 years to me. And I believe it's because you're up under this guy that tells you not to.
Okay, Madam Clerk, this one, Mrs. Morgan.
Ms. Morgan, I would just like to address your points in what you're saying. On several occasions, when you have requested information, I have sent it to you. Your response to me has been, I didn't want all of this stuff.
You want to charge me $450?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I sent it to you electronically, and I put in the letters that there is no charge for this. I have contacted you, asked for clarity on a lot of the points, because, and I can show you them, that read so that they were unrecognizable, trying to figure out what you were asking for. But I don't think I have ever not responded to your voice.
726, 920, 1025.
Miss, if you check your emails, which I have records of, I have records of my responses. Only the 40 you put in last week have I not responded to. And that's because it will be responded to tomorrow. And I contacted you, so please, let's not sit here and act as if you don't get your responses. And I would say that because you are one person who knows how to contact the Attorney General's office when I don't respond with the information in which I have responded to them. I have never once been cited by the Attorney General for lack of responses. So please, let's keep that clear.
Trustee Franklin.
I want to respond as well, since Ms. Lily made eye contact and say that she's disappointed in me as I grew up in this village, and I want to say that I'm disappointed in you as well, as somebody that I looked up to growing up. And now I watch the way that you spread hate through this community, and it's sick, it's sad, it's poisonous. You do it online on social media, you assassinate people's character, and you do it in a way that is only the same poison that a lot of black communities have, tearing each other down. And it makes no sense. You sit up there and call the police on the football program every day, came up there harassing the kids. We had parents that were scared of you. And you're supposed to be a person in the community that we look up to. But you continue to spew hate. You continue to defamate people's character. That's what you live for. It gives you a thrill, and it makes no sense. And it's sad to see a person like you, who I looked up to growing up as a mother figure, now you become an embarrassment on a daily basis. When people show me the things that you post, when people show me the way that you tear people down in this community, and you're supposed to love this community. You tear more people down on a daily basis than anybody I've ever seen. It's not fair, it's not right. So you say you're disappointed in me? I'm talking. You gave me a chance to talk. You want to look at me and say you're disappointed in me? I'm disappointed in you. Because I've been giving my life to this community for the past 15 years. This is not political with me. This is what I do. So you can't sit up here and act like, oh, I'm disappointed in you. I ain't stopped doing nothing that I ain't been doing for 15 years, giving back to this community. If I don't vote the way you want me to vote, that's up to me. I didn't ask you to vote for me. I didn't knock on nobody's door and ask them to vote for me. People vote for me because they know my heart and they know what I do. You're an embarrassment to this community at this point, and it's sad.
I speak nothing but the truth.
Thank you, Trustee.
Thank you.
Madam, Mrs.
I'm
Moore.
not entertaining you no more. It's a negativity, I'm not entertaining.
Mrs. Schmidt.
Been going on too long.
No, it's going to still, I will continue.
Thank you, Mrs. Morgan. Mrs. Trust, I see your name's on the list, you have a comment?
Maybe still in the embarrassment.
Okay, that's all right, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you, board.
I know
I'm
you
proud
are.
of it.
Absolutely.
Somebody got to say it.
That's right.
You know,
Thank you.
sit up here and let her clown and everything else. She embarrassed us in the public eye, and just act like a kid.
Yeah, put a mark on my community.
Makes
It's hard
no
to do.
sense. If you gonna make eye contact with me and say you disappointed with me,
Yeah.
you should be proud of me because I'm the only one that grew up in this community that's sitting up here, steady fighting for this community. I could have bought 5 or 6 houses anywhere else. I decided to move back here so I could help this community. Name somebody else who did that. I'll wait.
Thank you, trustee Franklin.
Thank you. Mrs. Trust.
Now, Grandma speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have some questions here. Because as usual, I'm a taxpayer, and I want to hear everybody else pays taxes too. But I'm talking about my portion that I'm concerned about. Now, there are some people in here who are concerned about children playing football. And they get out here with the parents and the children and whatever, for whatever reason you're doing it. My son does it too. He just won a championship with his children. He doesn't have to do that. But he does it too. So that's what we do. And what I do is I try to keep the people out of jail and I try to stay out too. Because for me, there are no jails for grandmas, for senior citizens. So I try to stay out of there, and I hate to see you go too. But I know 5 suburbs are having some serious problems.
Yeah.
And they all look like you. They do. And I get around. And most of you who know me, I get around. I was in another township today and then around. And when I hear stuff, you know, I'm embarrassed too. I have a meeting on Tuesday, it's a View, and we have women from all, just like the View on TV. And every week, they got something embarrassing to tell me about my village. Yes, every week, or something is in the paper or whatever that you're doing. But like I say, there are no jails for senior citizens. And most of you people over a certain age, they don't discriminate against you. What was that man's name they got him out there, Governor? But what I want to ask of you, in Moles, doing all this soliciting and gathering all this money, and what's making me sick on the stomach about this village is, you make the assumption that every child in this village plays football or throws up a basketball. That's the assumption you make. And you make the assumption that all old people need to go somewhere and sit down.
Yeah, I refuse.
You don't swim the laps I swim, you don't walk I walk, you don't go up the hills I go up. Don't I, Miss Barbara? Every day. I can climb the hill. I jog up the hill at River Farm. But you got to think of other people in this town other than yourself.
Yep.
I had one child who plays chess. Both my boys, my grandchildren play chess. I just spent the weekend with them downstate. And they play football too. And my son is a warrior. He led it in 3 sports, I think it was. And he gives back to another community. And I found myself doing the same thing. I was giving back to Park Forest, because that's what the League of Women Voters is. But they're all over, so I was constantly working there. But I decided I'd come to work here in my own community and do some things here. But you gotta stop making these assumptions that everything is about you.
Yeah.
And there's on the chat. We
have children in this village that walk around like this, and you're only concerned about football and basketball. And you may think about baseball. But these children went all through COVID and you never did a darn thing. You did not move. I'm home during the day. I have this kind of time and I see these children out here. These are the same children that you end up getting into trouble. Because they have no accountability. Nobody, the parents are working, and they don't need a babysitter. Me, my children have a babysitter. I drive 130, 40 miles to babysit my children, my grandchildren, because I have that kind of time, but everybody don't have that kind of time. So you gotta think about somebody else, and you gotta think about senior citizens. You don't just throw people, think they throw it away to have nothing to do, and you have one senior day a year in this town. But you down here, I see all your pictures all over the place where you sitting up having dinner at a place that you can't even pronounce. Think about it. Think about these children. Baseball, women over here, it's all women in this town running around trying to get a baseball team together and all this kind of stuff.
No, because.
I know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, because when, and
I just want you to listen.
I'm listening to you. Mrs. Morgan, please, quiet. I want to hear Mrs. Truster's comments.
I just want you to listen. I see you people not doing nothing, and then you talk about whatever. I was here when there was nothing here and we did something with it. Huh? I was here when football was played right up there. See, I got kids your age. You weren't here.
I was here with the coach right here when they were playing in this field.
But anyway, I won't argue with you. I won't argue with you on that point. But we have got to stop thinking about yourself and think about these children. You got to stop. I hear these people and complain, but you got to listen. They don't have to complain. They don't have to come together. They don't have to do these things. Now me, I'm missing some kind of, that's a football game on tonight.
Yes.
And I'm missing it.
Who playing?
I don't know who's playing tonight, but I'll be on the train, I'll be in the Bears field on Sunday.
Oh, you better wrap up because it's going to be freezing.
Well, I got to hope for
I
that.
know you do it.
I got to hope for that too. But I hang out with two men and they drag me along. One is my husband and one is my son, but we all do things together as a family. And some of these people in this town don't have families. So you cannot forget them. You cannot get so engrossed in your political career that you think you have. So what? Don't become a penny ante or penny ante only thinking about yourself. Think about somebody else for a change. I saw Miss Robin and the rest of them out here running and scraping their funds together and trying to get a baseball team together. I can remember the tennis courts here. I remember D. Jones, you sitting on that smile and everything. But see, I remember when you had to almost stand in line to get on the tennis court. Okay, I remember when we had all these things in the baseball. You let village manager, you let Opera sit in that corner for I don't know how many months and didn't charge him a penny, so you told me. Or who did you bill? And whose campaign fund did they enhance? But if I come in here and want to use this spot, you want to charge me. And when I go to pay the taxes, I said, okay, Steve, what you want to pay? Pay the whole thing, get it on over with. We pay our taxes. We've done our share. Now, I know you do your share too, but you may not care about your share. But I care about my share. And I also care about other people along with caring about the share. Because you see, when I was raising my kids, there was always somebody there too that was watching after my kids. Now down by where you live and all the rest of them where you, no, not where you live, but my children got many broke arms and broke legs because they were doing dirt bikes and all that kind of stuff. And the people helped me out. I had a job working at WLS-TV, and I had to quit it and get a job at Governor State. But when I was going to Governor State every day, working and going to school, there were people that would watch mine after school. That's what you call a village. I didn't have to get a babysitter because somebody in the neighborhood would watch out for them as they walk in the house. I didn't have to worry about what these kids worry about now. But you guys get up here and you act like you don't. And then trying to increase your fees. Yeah, I was one of the ones who went through that budget. I used to do budgeting at Governor State by hand before Excel was invented.
That's right.
Okay? Now I know I'm pretty old, but hell, I don't care. Live to get my age.
You're trying to get there, that's
Okay? And you'll be lucky. But don't forget, I was never so embarrassed of a budget that didn't include nothing for children. Not a darn dime. So how do you call yourself talking about Black Lives Matter? They damn down, don't mean nothing to you.
None.
These children are dark in color. I get them off the street. The other week, it was raining. Miss Millie and my husband was giving the kids warm apple cider and what do you call them thing? Marshmallow. And it was raining like everything. And I went and sit in the car. And Miss Millie was wet and everything, and so was Steve. But anything has to do with kids and football, my husband is usually there. You all don't usually see him. Most of the people don't know him. But he's usually out there. And he's pretty tough, and so is Millie. You might not like what she says. And that she beats me up once or twice a year, too. But when she came here, I welcomed her to the neighborhood. When she came. And she can get mad at me a couple times, or whatever, but this woman will get out of her, or be at my house and her or whatever. So Mary, give me some things. But she's real good at what she does. I know you may not like it. I know most of us don't have the best way of forming what we say. But I had put the marriage perspective to bed, but I think I need to bring it back out. Because some of this mess is ridiculous that I see going on. Now, I was just going to ask you a couple of questions of things I heard. See, I don't like to see things that are not done properly. I have this thing about being a creative person and have them done properly, especially when you get up here and think that you're doing something so great. Now, when we start looking at that budget, the first thing I ask them, where's the budgetary process? I want to see, they call it something else on this day. What you say? Who's hitting on that thing? But anyway, so I wanted to know the procedure for what you're doing.
She don't know.
But if you ask, you got to have, in order to make projections, you got to know where you're making it, base your projections on. Now, maybe I've been messing around with figures and stuff too long, because when I left my job, I said I didn't want to have anything else to do with figures. But I find that whatever I do, I still have to get on that computer and pay the state of Illinois and all those people their tax money. I to make you do it on the computer. But you got to do it right, people. And you cannot become penny-handed thieves. Now, I want to know. I will ask you plain right up here. I'm going to ask you this. And I was going to put it in the marriage perspective. But I said, okay, since you opened it up, I'll give you a chance. Did you all give these employees a bonus last year?
No.
Because if you did, proper procedures should have came across this board. And if you gave them a bonus, I want to know what for. I don't have nothing against these people. Steve and I bake pies and stuff. And I just love people in public works, and I try to stay away from the people in the police department. I also like the fire department too, Mr. Chillier, because they always checking my blood pressure.
Ask it again, Mayor.
I want to know
It's again.
if you did it, because if you did do it, how did you get it out of the budget to do it and did not cross this? Did you give them 1099? What did you do? I'm not saying you did it. I asked you the question. Did that happen?
You answer from the trustees.
No, they don't know that because they didn't come across you, they didn't see it, so they don't, it doesn't apply to them. Do not try to circumvent this board. Come across, when it's supposed to come across the board, bring it across the board. I don't like a lot of things that come across this board y'all vote on. I don't like a lot of ways somebody else campaign, but I have to eat it. And know that you're only going to be here 40 years because I'm taking you on down. I got 2 more years. But to let Aqua sit in that corner and occupy this time and tell me in order for me to have something here, I have got to pay you for it. And when I used to have a key to Park Forest's office, okay? I'm pissed.
I am too.
And when I ask you, nobody knows that I will sit over there for that much time and you're gonna charge me my taxes? I've been here for almost 48 years. And you're gonna charge me? And I get to sit over there free? And pumping all that nasty water in my house? How stupid can I get if I let you do that and let that happen? You could at least build them for it and gave the money to the baseball. Now we're not baseball people in our family. We just track and field, and football addicts. But this is utterly ridiculous. And the way this budget is put together, no, Ms. E, I didn't like it. It's not good. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Now I better go sit myself down while I'm still ahead. But I have this little organization. It's called the Block Club. And I simply ask for, from the code enforcement, you can't rent or move into a property unless code enforcement gives you the okay. I simply ask for the address. I don't need to know their name. All I want is the address. And why do I want the address? Because I want to welcome you to the neighborhood. I want to make sure that you did not miss some of the things you should know. Like I got a neighbor that doesn't know that she's supposed to put a sticker on her bags because her landlord didn't tell her. And she lives next door to me. So I have got to make sure we put a sticker on it. And that's all we want to do. Welcome wagon doesn't work anymore like it did when I lived here. They made sure I knew where everything was. Place to park, place to take the kids, place to do everything. That's all I asked for. I mean, I'm trying to help you do your job because you're not doing your job. And I live in the 7th precinct. And most of you all that follow elections know that the 7th precinct gives out more votes, as Senator George. They like me. I can still walk, and I will walk door to door to get you out of office. And I told one person sitting up here on that board there, don't be sitting around here voting aye and yes for every little thing without researching it. When I needed help, you weren't there. Miss E supposedly fixed my backyard. You made it worse, Miss E, than it was before.
It looks terrible.
And I still have water in my backyard. You got some substandard contractors in there. They brought the kids to work. They did some of everything. My backyard still have water flowing through it. And you went across those people's driveway next door. Now, my next step is to try to sue you for it. I hate to sue my village, but this is ridiculous for the kind of work and the kind of things you're doing. But I'm going to tell you, the people in public works, they usually get the job done. They may not like me or whatever, I don't care, but I ask them nicely to do this or do that. And I try to stay away from the police department. I don't want nobody down there know. Okay? So they don't have senior jail. But I want to tell you, do not neglect these children again. I see nothing in that budget for children. Nothing. You act like you weren't kids before. I don't know what's wrong with you people. You bring up, this is the second time you bring up a budget like this. And I don't want to hear about what was before. You took the job because it was bad before. Correct it. Mr. Franklin, those children come to you all don't know how to play no football or basketball. They don't know what's what. They don't know the difference between a quarterback and a linebacker. But they know all that stuff when you all finish. So, my son got a big old trophy. For his boys. And you gotta stop it, people. You threw out the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. You put out those speed bumps. You got speed bump at a four-way stop sign. How stupid can you get? Put a policeman there. Write a ticket. Here's stop speed. You didn't put nothing south of Abbott. That's where the speed trying to get the kids to the middle school. They don't speed on Olmsted. That's a straightaway. Why don't you speed there? You don't put no speed bumps there. That's what the police is for. You get some revenue out of that. They won't speed there no more if you give them a ticket. I know I won't. Every time you go, you gotta go over a big hump in the street. Don't nobody speed in front of me. There's so many people there. I can't speed. Girl, please, you're coming down the hill. I mean, that's totally ridiculous. And I know every time you're taking up your time, but this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm getting sick and tired of that. And you won't get sick and tired of me writing. Because my granddaughter's finished her college career. That's what she does. She just put up a website for her. So, I won't get tired of writing. And if you don't want me standing in front of your house, I got a nice camera, just like that right there. Now, do I have to go back on Comcast with my show? Or I'll just do YouTube, because I don't mind doing it. Straighten up the act, people. Straighten up the act. Stop giving away stuff and charging people for everything that live here and doing nothing for these children. I'll see y'all later. Don't be trying to say I harassed you because you haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, there are a didn't say that in a minute.
Thank you, Mrs.
I mean, that has happened to me. Chief called me, okay, some dude talking about I harassed him in my town. Boy, you gonna kill yourself home.
They'll say
Thank you,
it in a
Mrs.
minute.
Truss. So that now concludes, Mrs. Martin. We now conclude our public hearing section. Is there a motion to adjourn our public hearing?
Sir, I had one question about the budget question. We had a lot of this conversation going
We'll
on.
finish with it. Go ahead, I'll be this courtesy, Jim, make just 1 minute.
Okay, it was
Just
I
a
got
comment.
because I wanted everybody else to
Just a
hear it.
comment.
They kind of did a lot of commentary and got their points
Just a quick
across.
comment, we're gonna keep on moving.
But it's in the budget, so it was on page 9, which the question was, when she was talking about for the youth program. We had a youth program at 6,500 that you're saying to put in, which consists of all the youth programs here at University Park. $6,500 is nothing, but there's nothing here at University Park. But then you want to add in for special events, 15,000. You're going to get special events, oh, 15,000. But the youth, that consists of all the youth in the community, 6,500. That doesn't make any sense. That's on page 9. Special events are added in $15,000 for them.
That's the
For that group. But then, for the youth, all the youth in the community, 6,500. Where does that come from? Why are you doing that? When we have nothing here for the youth.
I tell you what,
As
I
a
will.
program. So that's what I'm saying. There's no way that it's only a mistake. As in sports groups, we got 3 sports groups. We got the basketball, the football, and the baseball, which is gonna split $6,500 from university.
Mrs.
But
Dillon,
that's just some other organizations, that's not even with the university part.
we good, listen. And thank you for your comments, we're gonna keep on moving, but I will ask you to help us. We're looking to find a park district or park and recreation department. That seems to be the biggest problem because like Mrs. Trust stated, it's not just about football, baseball, or basketball. Our board members are very creative and innovative, and we do have more concerns regarding other activities outside of athletics. But what the problem is we do not have a mechanism like most communities, park district or park and recreation. So I would ask you to work with your board, not work against us and say, well, we don't have. Help us develop a park district. Help us develop a park and recreation system. That's a lot. Mrs. Morgan, please.
We don't want a park district.
You might not.
He's talking about me, let him, I can respond to him.
So I'm not going to ask you, I just want to make a statement. I'm asking, outreach, asking for your help to help circulate petitions and get it to a public referendum and let the residents decide on which direction we want to go. For 50 plus years, we have used the system of a park and recreation system. That system is kind of old right now. There's an opportunity to start off fresh and get some of these same things that you want. Programs, facilities, these other things. But this is a small sacrifice period because remember, that place was closed down in 2018. All right? So in order to put a Band-Aid on there, it's unacceptable. Let's get a permanent solution, a permanent fix, and let's build on this community. And don't worry about what we don't have. Let's get out this rearview mirror, stay in the front windshield, and move forward. Help your community. Help your board, because you might not understand certain things at a certain time, but have trust and faith, because we're a long way from where we came from, and don't nobody know it better than I do. And matter of fact, I sat here for 12 consecutive years, and I've seen the peaks, the valleys, the ups and downs, and the finger point. The times are over. We have such a unique opportunity to prepare this community forward. Don't put a bad position on my head. Don't be afraid of what you might not know. Don't be afraid of stepping outside the box. They always say that you can tell the content of a person's character, how they operate when they're uncomfortable, not working in a comfortable scenario. So just a little food for thought. Thank you for your comments. We're going to come on. That's the comment. We finished, Mr. Gilbert.
This resident does not support a park district.
Okay.
So I will not be out there circling.
Okay, that's all right.
But I'm saying, even with a referendum, that's 2 years from now.
No, it's not.
They have to go on the ballot. They have to
It's
go on the ballot.
going in 2022.
23.
22.
Even if it's 2022, where's the information? Where's something for the children now?
Listen, slow down.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to happen if you work with us instead of trying to just jump ahead. We haven't made, I don't know how long we've been in the town, but we're moving from what we used to be to the future generation.
That's not how I did it.
No, I'm not gonna pay.
Right?
Thank you for your
So I'm
comment.
just saying,
Is there a
if
motion?
you're gonna give 15,000 to the clothes, and you're only gonna get 6,500, that's where I have a concern.
Okay.
Where things can be done right now for all the different programs that people are talking about, instead of waiting for some kind of referendum, which would, if we talk about, who knows if it passed, and then we could have a school district.
Okay,
That is
thank you,
passed.
Mr. Gilmore.
And it might be 2 or 3 years before anything, so you're gonna wait 3 or 4 years before you have any program to work.
No, I didn't say that.
That's something.
So can I address
Go ahead, trustee. Go ahead.
the question? Because I agree with you. I think that it initially was put in there, and this is something that Trustee Payton put into play years ago. It was initially put in there for programs to submit receipts to get up to $6,000 in refund.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Since there's more than one program, that number should be or should reflect the ability for each program to get up to $6,000. So each program may not submit $6,000 worth of receipts, but if a program spends and submits that amount of money, I believe that they should be able to receive that amount of money. So I want to ask, so if a program manager, Eve, you can help me out here, because I want to make sure this is clear, this is important. So if any program submits up to $6,000, they should receive a refund. But if there's another program that submits receipts as well, do we come together as a board and vote to move forward with making that payment to other programs? Is what I want to make sure is clear.
Well, what we wanted to do is to equally share it among the existing. $6,500 will be shared equally. Right now, there have been 3 organizations that have been identified that will address that. One organization has submitted receipts, reimbursements, and we pay accordingly. When others submit their receipts, that's baseball, basketball, and football. Those are the 3 known organizations we've been dealing with.
Okay. So since the budget is a working document, there is room for us to increase that amount, is what I want to make sure, because I believe that all programs should be able to receive up to $6,000. So if the board would agree with that, I think that's something that I want to make sure that's clear, and so that we're able to support the programs in that manner, because we don't have any other mechanism to support the programs that are doing things in the village. This is a small token, and I want to make sure that we're providing encouragement for people to step up and run programs in the village. So
The board can
always come back to the table.
include whatever they want in.
But why no?
This is a document. Excuse me, Ms. Morgan, please don't be disrespectful.
Mr. Morgan, please let's not.
So, Mr. Manager, I hear what you're saying. So just for the record,
Yes.
Can we do it?
all programs will have the ability to submit receipts for up to $6,000. If we go over the budget, that's at 65 now, we'll come to the vote. The board will come to and vote to approve the payment for the receipts that have been submitted by any program that's in the village that have successfully ran the program and submitted receipts. Just want to make sure that's clear.
Is that confirmed, because I know they thought that it was
Brooks.
9,000 receipts.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gilmore.
So, I just want to get that.
So the budget has to be passed before that can be
Yes.
confirmed. Budget has to be passed.
I just want to make sure that that's when.
Mr. Gilmore, we're gonna work on that together. Trustee Brooks?
Yeah.
Look, I don't have a problem with it.
Mr. Mayor, Trustee Franklin, in fact, I think Trustee Bowden said it, you already know. We already have it here to try to modify and put some things, you just can't do it now. We're waiting until the next meeting. And we have the numbers to try to make it better, put something in there for the kids.
We're good.
Absolutely.
If you want to know it now, we'll say it.
Well, it's a working document, so we know that we're going to continue to work on the document to make sure that it's in place.
We had already seen, we seen it wasn't in there. So, we're asking,
To put it in there.
put 20,000 in there for reimbursement. But we got the numbers, everything's gonna be working around, so we have to move, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chair, we have to move to the next meeting in order for stuff like that to happen. Because this is just a hearing.
Yeah, listen, we can amend that and do that. We have no problem with it. That's why it's been out there for 3 months.
Right.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely. And this is the first time, and it's unfortunate that no one had the time to take advantage of it, the 2 or 3 months that it's been posted. But everybody on this board is a strong advocate and supporter of the, not just our youth and our community, but every single resident, because everybody has different needs for different things. So that's fine and dandy. So can I have a motion to close our public hearing now?
So move.
Moved by
Brooks.
trustee Brooks, second by McFadden. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. This public hearing is now closed. Take a 5-minute recess to stretch our legs. We'll go into this brief agenda. And thank you for all of your comments. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. And don't let anyone tell you that we are anti-this, anti-that. If you don't hear it from the horse's mouth, then it's not trash.
But you are negligent.
No, I'm not, Ms. Lewis.
You
Ms.
may
Morgan,
not be anti, but you are negligent. Your view ain't.
this is our 5-minute recess anyway. Let's stretch our legs out.
You're negligent. You're here for adult entertainment, but nothing for the children. Sit outside. Car shop. Car show. You don't see no kids in no car show.
We locked up with the parents.
You have, it's a shame, it's a shame. That which was cold like everything. It was wet.
I believe she said she loved that. She loved going there.
That good? That ain't factual. Okay, here we are. Meeting is now called to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk. 8:36, 8:37. This meeting is now called to order. Oh, I see. We don't have to do the pledge of allegiance on this one yet. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Lewis. Present. Trustee Franklin.
Present.
Trustee Bowles. Present. Trustee Patrick. Present. Trustee Jenkins-Bell. Present. And Mayor Reed.
I'm here, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Brooks, I didn't forget.
Yeah.
you.
I'm getting further down in the telephone. I'm here.
Okay, cut it off.
It's great.
All right. Since we're not going to do the pledge of allegiance, any public comments for this one, Madam Clerk? No public comments for this meeting. Action item E, action item E, 1A, second and third reading, an ordinance adopting the budget for all corporate purposes of the Village of University Park, Will and Cook Counties, Illinois, in lieu of the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year commencing on the first day of May 2021 and ending on the 13th day of April 2022. Is there a motion? Moved by Trustee Bowden. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Lewis. Roll call.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Trustee Brooks.
Before we go here, I would like to make, actually a couple things, a couple points I would like to make some modifications. Can you take my mask off so I don't sound muffled? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First, Ms. E, I just want to check on some things here. The permits, although we had the hearing and the residents were speaking on it, I just want to make sure, I know when we got down to 2021, Ms. E, is it, will we gain revenue? I'm sorry, trustees, I'm on page 1. Let's go with the permits and see, is it plausible that we get more than hold on where I'm at, 305, I know we got 1.6 last year. Is it plausible that we're going to get more than that? That number, I would anticipate because we have 2 construction sites, so I was assuming that we probably would get more and not a reduction in it, due to the timing of this budget when it was printed. So would this still be the same, or would we anticipate more?
Approximately 305, that's where that came from. Approximately 305 is estimated cost of permitting fees. We may get more.
Okay.
But we can't estimate any more than that, so we said, be on the safe side. And if we get more at the end of the year, it will show that increase in that budget line. So 305, we know we're going to get.
Okay, so with Central Steel, would they come in time that number would increase? It would be afterwards? Okay, so we'll stick with that. If the trustees can turn to pick the expenditure, I'd like to, Madam Clerk, I know you don't tell me, to email you this, so everyone follow me. This is fine, listen. I know, I'm gonna say it right now, we all have disagreements, but we all need to, we gotta come to the same point. And that is that when it comes to, in politics, the ground sometimes they can be shaky. But here, there's some things that I want to make sure that we have, and I'm asking my colleagues to follow along with me. We had it before. One of them is going to be the before and after school. Before and after school, I have it on, well, actually, Ms. E, you have 0 revenue on it, but we are back to school. Okay, so, that was on page, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, I just wanted to confirm with her this. Yeah, page 4, even though we don't have it on 2002, it is back. Ms. E just confirmed it, and that would be as revenue.
For the fiscal year that we're talking about, we may get approximately $15,000.
Oh, okay.
Approximately $15,000. We haven't gotten to that level, and we got approximately 4 more months remaining in this budget year. So $15,000, I think I'll be safe in saying $15,000.
Would I be stretching it? I had numbers that I was
stretching it, because I'm stretching $15,000.
because I'm gonna tell you, I want to make sure, because I did calculate it to have it ready for Madam Clerk. She's gonna ask me for it. Would I be stretching it if I was saying we were gonna get revenue close to 50, and then with basketball we get 5,000 again? Would that be a stretch? We on that same line, we on the same page. Would I be stretching if I'm saying we get in 2022 about 50,000 in back to school revenue, and then underneath it we get 5,500? Would I be stretching it? Because if not, I can go ahead and give Madam Clerk that number that I have for revenue.
55,000.
Yes, so yeah, between those two.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
55.
oh, I'm sorry, 5,500 for basketball, 50,000 for the back to school. Because I would.
Okay, we got 4 months away, the day came out of the month. And we're already reduced by 50% of the number of participants in the program as of the beginning of last year. So we can't get it because we can only receive maybe a max of 2022 versus 50-55.
Okay, because I know we had, that revenue was 85. Yeah, it was 85 that passed. And the only reason why I did an average. And the school year does end in April, am I correct? Why do we have only 4 months left?
This is December because they're out, holidays,
Right.
December, so we guesstimated approximately 20 to 20, no more than, you said 20,000, 25,000, about 50% of it would be a good guesstimate. But last year we had way over 20, we had. I'm following what you're trying to do, is give us an estimate of the anticipated revenue for an after-school program.
Okay.
We don't have the level that we initially thought we'd start out with as of now.
Well, it is a working document, and I did my math, and I just want to give Madam Clerk some numbers. Can I do that? When you said stretching it on that revenue?
You be stretching it, this is what I started
So, Mayor, what I was trying to do is say we probably would get about 50,000. That's what we would get. I took the highest number and the lowest number, I averaged it. The highest number we were getting out of this program was 82,000. The lowest we ever got was about 57 when COVID hit. But in between, like in 2019, we still got 63 increase. And to my understanding, the parents understand that we're back. So I'm trying to make this, you know.
So we started actually a little bit later this year than we normally do, right?
We did.
Yeah.
So I was just averaging that if we do that we might get close to 50 in that revenue. But basketball, I think shouldn't be a question. 5,500.
And that basketball program is run through the village. That's the only one that the village runs, is the basketball program.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like the basketball is funded on the front end versus the other programs who are funded on the refund of submission of receipts. So we want to make sure we don't put it in there twice because basketball is funded on the front end. So when we talk about the $20,000 figure, you're really just calculating at this time for football and baseball. Hopefully, somebody else will start another program within the community with the incentive that they can be refunded if they're willing to start an organization, bring another. And we're not just talking about sports, we're talking about any program.
Yeah, we got the Illinois Track Flames who have been a staple in this community for the longest and never, ever has asked the community, the village for us. I think we did once or twice when I was a trustee, but the Flames run a consistently good track program to incorporate some of that. And that's why we need to come up with the whole answer out of it. That's good.
Yeah, so what it was, trustees, I was trying to add the possible revenue. If you want to leave that blank, we can. I was just trying to, because I know we made something. We made something this year, and to leave it blank. Because we have it, I mean, it's blank.
I don't think it has been operating a month yet.
No.
No, it hasn't.
It has, oh, it has,
No.
I thought we were back there.
We just started that in late October, just before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so then.
I mean, not Halloween, I'm sorry.
Okay, then I tell you what, let's leave that blank and,
I'm sorry.
going down to page.
You said basketball, that's a fee, right? So that's what the people pay into basketball, that's what y'all pay out. Because basketball, the middle school wasn't gonna do the basketball.
No.
Mr. Gilbert, please, don't holler out in the audience. Please.
I'm sorry,
So this is revenue, what I'm speaking about right now is about strictly revenue that's coming in. So that's what we are, if anybody's following the budget, I'm on page 5. And so pretty much if anyone wanted to know what I was trying to average, the trustees and I were discussing the before and after care program, and when the budget was done, before and after school program was not in. So that's why you see it blank. It was not in. So what I was trying to do, because I know Madam Clerk on her numbers, if I make a modification, I had the numbers ready. But let's leave it blank because it's too early for us to know. So Madam Clerk, I'm not going to make a motion on any of that. Mrs. E, allocation from the tip. How are we this year? I know.
You mean the village allocation?
Because I know in 2017, 18, we kicked out a lot of money. Will we be paying allocation from the tip?
We're paying back the money for the $1.9 million that was in fact borrowed by the village.
Okay.
We're paying that back.
Okay. Okay, that's page 7, Ms. E. Just kind of want to bring that to the attention when you're looking at donations, special events. I'm just trying to bring some realistic numbers here. We got that plate.
What do you mean in terms of the
Yeah.
village clerk?
No, for page 7, for donations for the special events, you had let me know that most of the money was allocated, or excuse me, it was put in an escrow.
What are you saying?
Am I right?
Go back to page 4, trustee. 4 and 5, and 10 allocations on 5.
Who print these numbers on here?
I thought you did, man.
Take out your magnifying glass.
I'm in that age, I'm about to take the glasses off. Okay. Okay, whoever on the page who I'm reading here for fees, but the before and after, oh, excuse me, no, check that. It should be the page after. It doesn't have a number. That's page 5, okay.
Special events.
So yeah, I'm just realistic numbers. I know you said we had the donation for special events. It's blank, so I'm assuming Ms. Eden.
Under where, now, repeat, where are you now? Okay, what line item is it?
Under,
Revenue title.
there you go.
If you go down, this line, maybe up to 15.
Where's the name? They talk about donation.
Yes.
Okay, so give me the code, 375.04.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, we have nothing.
So, we probably want to get that number, make it accurate for the next go around, please. You said it was in a special, it was in an escrow account. You had paid for something for, what was that, general session? It was general funds, but it was, we asked about it because everything's coming out of general funds. So, if we can get that right, one thing I will teach you about getting right is is on page 6. I see one trustee is spending money, go anywhere.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
That's me. That's me. That's a good actual.
Okay.
I just spent it down, so I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
That's accurate.
Oh, yeah.
That's accurate. I didn't go anywhere. So, I'm getting to the meat of it, man. I'm just going through some things here that I've seen. Miss E, legal women voters, page 9. I guess this is new to me. What is that?
Normally they've been donating money. I didn't remove basically any of the line items, unless hopefully the board is in the past, the legal women voters have been coming in every election and presenting candidates to the community, and it has been a paid item in the budget. So I didn't take it out of the budget, but I didn't incorporate any dollars.
Okay.
We never charge.
But I think right above it though, I'm sorry, am I seeing this right? So special events should be 15,000.
Yeah, this year, it's 15,000.
Okay.
See,
For
that's
the
what
new
we-
programs, I'll leave that for trustee Jenkins. Okay, page 10. I know one point I want to make, Ms. E, was pretty much probably where I started getting my numbers for the, before and after school, even though it's blank here, we don't have the salaries. But I'm seeing here, well, we have salaries, excuse me, I don't see a part-timer salary. You didn't bring a part-timer back?
No, we didn't bring a part-time because we're going to utilize existing staff until we can get confirmation with the COVID situation. Right now, we got part-time, we're using existing employees to assist with the program.
Okay, well, I think we need to put in the budget, but we need to budget for a part-timer here. I see 21.
Is that a part-time or a seasonal
Well,
part-time?
now keep in mind this budget year.
If it
It's
is,
going to be over April 30th now.
yeah, if it is there, we don't use it, we just don't use it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we budget for it. However, the lady that's over there, why, I mean, Ms. E, she, out of all employees, why is she the only one that got only this small raise?
Well, everybody, if you go back and do your math, it tells you 2 and 3%, some get longevity, but nobody got less than 2%.
Okay,
It's based on her growth. And I didn't set her salary, her salary was based on intake and union. I had nothing to do with that.
union?
Yes,
Well,
yes,
you said this is union?
yes it is.
This happened is union?
Yes,
Ask
it is.
me. Ask me.
Now, she did previously, if I can,
Yeah.
previously, she was part-time with the Parks and Recreation Department.
Okay,
She was, quote, a permanent part-timer because she was guaranteed to work in excess of 20 hours or more for a week, but less than 36 hours.
okay,
So at that point, she was not union. But
okay.
then when she became full-time, and I think that happened around COVID.
Okay, so her salary will be based upon the union contract, right?
Right.
So would it still be at 37 or 38? Would it still be at 38?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Just good dialogue, that's all. So that takes care of that. So there's no need to change the number. Oh, Madam Clerk, so far I gotta go up on the numbers. So everything looks good. Hold on. Page 12, what did I see? Oh, Ms. E, we need to do something about these vehicles. It does not, 2,000 is unrealistic. For the squad cars,
For the what?
for the squad cars.
Under what?
Page 12,
I'm looking at.
maintenance.
Okay, these were numbers that, I did, there's an increase that's following. If you look under the first category of maintenance, office equipment, it's an increase of 1,000. And then if you go 2 spaces down, it says maintenance, communication equipment, there was an increase of 5,000. And you go down with maintenance, Jones equipment, it's 7,000. So, and keep going down, I mean, in the parentheses indicate the increases accordingly, but I didn't guesstimate these. Now, you have to understand too, that there are categories, they are getting them in their department, it's also in public works. So oftentimes when they don't get them repaired and cost out of their budget, they get them done out of the public works budget. But these were the dollars that came from the police department.
Yeah, but in general funds, or excuse me, every bill's payable, I think I'm fussing that almost one squad car is almost like $6,000. Now, I do know, if you can tell me the latest, I guess we have good news, unless maybe you could tell the board later, Enterprise, or you want to wait to say that?
About the what?
Enterprise, the squads, the new cars.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that later.
Right, we'll talk about that later, but then, which is good news, but, right.
We're not gonna talk about that. We
So-
have to put something on to that, so that we can't.
So with this EMS that we're passing tonight, those cars would go to those vehicles. That means we probably have to switch the funds into the EMS budget, correct?
No, see, you're preempting. It's not switching the funds, it's how the categories we got initially paid them out. We don't necessarily, for example, we may pay it out of basic general fund. As such, we may pay part of it out of public works. That's the way we've been doing it, each department based on whatever, because we can't put all, initially, we were deciding that we're gonna put all maintenance in public works, period. All maintenance, regardless of the department, all maintenance should be out of public works. But we had staff meetings, we were going back and forth on this and back and forth on some some department heads felt that they needed a certain amount of maintenance dollars directly in their budget, and that's what we ended up doing. Otherwise, everything would have been over to public works, and we wouldn't have had the question you would have received, X number of dollars for the police department, X number of dollars for the fire department, and X number of dollars for public works. But they feel that, and they know their departments more than public works.
Well, Ms. E, the one thing, and I understand, you and I both know how municipalities run real business. And sending units over to the fire department is a great and cheap way to
You mean over the public works?
Huh?
You mean over the public?
Yes, because that's what most municipalities do to save dollars. But in the case of these 2016s, and with this program, with this budget, we're going to be having an EMS. Those units are going to end up going over there anyway. But my point is that if we're going to budget each department, and I think that is the complaint that we're hearing from really any resident when it comes to the budget, that when we spend a certain amount of dollars in a certain area, the only way this village is ever going to recover is that we have these department heads really, and I'm not saying you're not, but when it comes to the board ourselves, we're not involved in day-to-day operation. But we know that when it comes to the dollar amount for a squad unit and bills payable, Coy's is fixing it at $6,000 a pop. 12,000, yeah, those things, we're talking, I want us to be more realistic.
And we're going to have to be more coordinated on that too. Because with the department.
I agree.
We got to get more coordinated with that.
I agree, but here for the numbers, I just want us to be more realistic with the trustees.
What are you asking? To increase the budget more?
For the maintenance, I think that the trustees are spending.
It's time for those vehicles to go. That's the intention that
But-
we're discussing with them.
But we'll save the dollar if we take them and switch them to the EMS. That's what we agree right there, pretty much like most municipalities until the government gives us, because they really give us like a Tahoe or something like that, but we need emergency management vehicles now. We don't have the money to go out and purchase new vehicles. Well, new vehicles should be going to staff and police officers.
Especially some of the older vehicles that we take out of fleet, because we've been trying to get this emergency management or as the unit, whatever, operating for some time now. And since that is a concern, that alleviates some of the burden on the fire department and the police department when accidents occur. We get the volunteers properly trained to go out for traffic control and do those functions. So maybe there's an opportunity when we retire some of the older vehicles like the squads. We got from Texas that they were 85,000 miles when we received them at the start. So now, as the units don't run as frequently as they do, so maybe we can retire some of those vehicles and identify and mark those for emergency service disaster units.
Right, and actually, Ms. E, I'll say this, realistically, for now, we have it on the EMS, it's about 25,000 for vehicle maintenance. But see, when the vehicle is not going to be used as much, that is about the right price for it. It's just with the PD, considering the fact that they are the most used vehicle, like right now, we don't know how high, because they run 2 days on, 2 days off. So one unit right now is running for 48 hours. Them pickup trucks are running for 48 hours. So we want to make sure that $2,000 is more, or more. We should not have only just $2,000 for maintenance for those trucks.
And with
Yeah, we can put whatever you want in this budget, but let's look at the income.
okay,
That's all.
but let's
We don't have the income.
outside of the budget.
So I'm trying to find other sources for that, those vehicles, and that's what I'm anticipating you will get. I am finding other sources for at least 2 more police vehicles a year, 2 new ones per year, and that's what the chief and I have talked.
And you know I'm going to fuss at you, right?
So let me ask you this.
I'm going to get 2 new ones. No, 2. And we see the federal guidelines for the number of police officers now that's required based on our population. So we're in good standing. That's right.
Oh,
The 8,000. We got 16. Look it up.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
10.
went through a whole thing.
So let me ask
Oh,
you
we
this.
have commissioner back there.
Outside the budget, what I don't see happening in the community, this is nothing budget related, is that we don't have a fleet maintenance program that
Right.
rotates those vehicles in for tire rotations, oil changes, and I don't see my public works trucks going to get safety inspected twice a year, because none of them have the sticker on there. So maybe we
Well,
can
I
make.
totally agree, and that's what I've been advocating
Yeah, so-
or whatever.
Just food for thought, because he made me think about that when it comes to maintenance. We get brand new equipment, but if we don't continue to maintenance them and change the tires and the oil change and rotate them, there'll be no doggone good.
That's why some of our vehicles couldn't pass.
Yeah.
There is, right,
It had not been sent out.
In my industry, we have to have a fleet maintenance program that upgrades and changes and make sure that we get the best bang for our buck. We got brand new vehicles, and we don't want to see them
Go down.
outside of the schedule. We want to see them on the schedule where there's regular maintenance being maintained, because people depend on those.
and that should be, that should be entertained as a part-time
Well, usually,
maintenance, like a guy who works on
usually
that.
sets up a fleet maintenance program for the whole municipality.
Right.
Which incorporates every single fleet that we have.
Right, the one guy is in charge.
Yeah, they've got a program that goes on there that tells you when your time for your oil change, when your time for your tire rotation.
Right.
All right, but that's something different.
Okay. If the trustees can go to page 13, we don't have this line item in here. This trust knows, that's what everybody if you're on that south end, we need animal control. I don't know who cats at my house, but they are not my cats.
You gotta stop feeding them, man.
Look, I want to go to heaven, number one. Number two, these kittens are being born. She knows just what I'm talking about. It's time for these animals to go.
Cats are
So,
raccoons.
board, I am asking on one of the, I'm gonna put it in here in a second. We need to add animal control. That salary, if we can, it would be part-time, until, what time is it?
We've got to, you're concerned about that, public works is serious. Public works is serious, and we are now trying to get public works losing. We got to.
We used to do that.
No, I need a dog,
What
cat.
we can do,
Raccoon
we're
cats.
having some kind of intergovernmental agreement with.
They won't come out.
We will not.
No, they will not.
We will do some investigation on that.
She'll tell you, Ms. Truss will tell you, no one is cooperating with University
No
Park at
one
this
will
point.
cooperate with University.
Nobody. We're having a nightmare on that south end.
Okay.
So I want to add to the budget, animal control part-time officer for only 30,000. And on that line item, Madam Clerk, would be 30,000. For that proposed budget, it would push it up to, on that line item, 1,257,249.
Okay, but trustee, when you get an animal control officer, you're gonna have to get some animal control vehicle.
Fine.
You're gonna have to get the appropriate.
Miss
animal
E,
control-
we need it. You hear me? We are in trouble on that south end of town. Yes, Madam Clerk.
That's what I was going to.
130,000.
Would this person come under the authority of the police department?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we had before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like Madison, because the one we had as a community service officer, she retired, right? So that person, we can grow that position, but we need to start now with an animal control because nobody would come out at all. So if they would answer under the authority of the police department.
So let me ask you this, trustee.
So would that be an increase?
Yes, ma'am.
Police department's budget?
It would be an increase in the police department's budget.
Yes, just in the police.
And you're looking that the revenues from,
Truck enforcement, ox car, or whatever.
no, just from animal control.
Yes, actually, yes. Madam Clerk, you read my mind, yes, because that would go on the fines and the increase. Because also the police department is hiring 4, if I'm not mistaken, or we're down 4, increasing 4. So during this period of time, more revenue will be coming in.
2.
2.
2? Okay. Right. Right. So that extra line item there. Madam Village Manager,
You
on,
understand that 30K is all encompassing. How many hours do you anticipate that you, to make this person effective, would have to work through the course of the week?
he would be, if he's part-time, he would be under the 40 standard, am I correct?
He or she.
He or she, yeah, let me watch that word, he or she, we like to do it, would be under the 40-hour standard.
Okay, so what does that mean, 40 hours? Does it mean 30? Does it mean 28? Does it mean 20?
I would say part-time would start off with 20 hours.
Yeah, because when I looked online, it was like 16 up an hour.
Okay, now, understand that if they're permanent part-time,
That person would be under the union.
that person would come under the union.
That's right.
They would also fall under IMRF.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So take that into consideration.
Okay, but, I mean, that's fine. We gotta do something though. For whatever reason, I don't know what went wrong.
Yeah, 20 hours or more is permanent part-time.
And we don't have crossing guards, which is another thing to the police department.
But we got that budgeted though.
Yeah, but I guess the only problem, I don't really have a problem with it, because it's consistent on the board. I guess the only thing is, I mean, it's sat out there for 3 months, and no one made any adjustments or made any comments prior to. And I'm not in disagreement with those amenities or services for the residents, that's all.
Right. Well,
I wish we had incorporated those ideas and suggestions into this actual number prior to tonight, that's all I'm saying.
well, it went for the first reading. And I don't even know what would it be modified for the first reading.
You added the $6,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the only amendment to the budget.
That's the only amendment.
Right. Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt that we have, taking action to, for the residents, this. Now, we'll ask Ms. E, I spoke about this the last time we were in the, meeting. Page 16. The comparables to our chiefs and fire chiefs. I know I got the numbers, but the fire chief, one agreement that Milton Payton said was that, and I agree because considering I know how the salaries are, at least the firefighters and police officers, your subordinate should be 5 to 10 less than you. And I don't know, we gave the the deputy chief 45. Why did we not take care of the fire chief?
Okay, you need to understand, somebody mentioned earlier about the budget process. What we initially do is we have a department head to give me their budget based on the needs of the department. Then what we do is we meet with every department head and bring it to a second level. Now, then it gets to a point where we change based on union requirement of proposed increases. We change based on whatever it is with fringes or whatever, longevity. But other than this, there has always been a slightly, and you look at the other years. Let's just look at the prior years. There's always been a slight differential. So you can't just put it all out on Ms. E. You need to look at the pattern.
No, Ms. E is,
Look at the pattern.
I'm putting my trust in Ms. E to help me with this. Because I told you, Ms. E, this is a task. Before you stepped in, before I even got in, this was a big pool. This was a pool. If Trustee McMullen was still around, he'll start talking about the millions of dollars and all the things that went wrong and people and their salaries. I just want us to be fair here. If we have the fire chief, if the deputy chief is going to get 45, the fire chief, the comparable is 115 that I'm looking at. Am I seeing this right? Yeah, 115. And I'm just saying, if we're gonna be fair, and this is even to show that the department heads are doing, and the trustees, I can tell you now, one person that you notice in this here, that they have their salary hasn't moved, because they respect the fact that we're trying to get University Park where people want to come here and work, and people want to come here and be our boss, enjoy being, people who are bosses here, they earn their dollars. The police chief has not asked no more than 125, because that's the average that's going, and that's the structure of the police department. But to see the deputy chief of the fire department get his raise, but the fire chief gets, really, he don't even move. You might as well pay both of them equally. That's unheard of.
Trustee Brooks, let me ask a question. Ms. E, hold on, let me ask a question. Now, let me get clarity.
Yeah.
You're telling me we're not going to talk positions. This person implemented and gave you this budget, correct?
Yeah.
From that department, correct? Is that correct?
So he gonna ask for a raise. He gonna ask for a raise.
You have to understand.
It's our job. It's our job to make it right.
Let me finish my statement, guys.
Okay.
So I'm saying, so if he didn't ask and he's not complaining and he's content on where he is, why are we creating something that's not there?
That's not true.
No,
It's not true.
that's not true.
Here's the thing.
I haven't heard anything from
No, he's not gonna tell you. Everybody knows Chief Chelios is the biggest, smartest teddy bear in this world. He's gonna keep working.
But he did.
But the point is that in 2016, people took cuts. Everybody went down, even in the finance department, those people took cuts. We're operating where people are working and they basically catching up to the mistakes that were made 10 years ago. And I'm just saying, we have revenue that's coming in, especially permit money coming from Central Steel, Carvana. We got 1.3 gonna be coming in every year. My point is that at some point, someone who is supposed to be $5,000 away, they're not. Another person, if we want to say, it's not just, we got the directors of public works in the other towns. They are making 90 plus. Our director of public works, he makes 83. He's going to get 83 this year. But before that, he was doing 78. But let's talk about how he on a lawnmower. He works hard just like everybody else. So I'm just saying, to the board tonight, it's two salaries I'm definitely going to say that we have to be fair about. Because it's not Trustee Franklin, Trustee Karen Lewis, Trustee McFadden, and not even, I was here. When I came walk through the door when it was all jacked up. It was jacked up. Now, what I say, I don't never say it, I always say, you all left a blueprint that really, if the blueprint wasn't there, this village would be in receivership. So for 2 years, we have slowly climbed everyone back to the salaries they should be. And I'm just saying, we also have people at Village Hall that needs to be compensated, or we need to make decisions because they're doing work. This village is working at a skeleton type salary. Now, either we're going to hire more workers or we're going to compensate those who are here. We got to make a decision. And we can't afford right now, at least with police department and some of these contracts, with some departments, I'm an officer, 99,000. You'd probably be glad to see me walk out the door and bring in a guy making 40. That's just the realistic of it. You get two for my salary. Two patrolmen for my salary. So that's what I'm saying. But your department heads, Ms. E, my point tonight is, and the point to the board, is that with this budget, we have to be fair, we have to be right. And those two, I'm going to make a motion. It can fail in the past. But Ms. E, listen to me. I said, I did say this before.
Longevity is in there too.
Longevity is in there. But also at the same time, when are we going to be fair on these salaries?
Okay, first of all, it has been my position to begin to repay all those people that the village promised to pay when they cut them. They haven't got that. That's a fact.
Who? Only one got it was,
Named person.
no, 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 right, well,
Well, we have yet to do that. There are some people that have sure certified skill set.
right.
They probably should be getting, but they are not. There are other employees.
You know, I ain't gonna disagree with
do
that.
not have-
Because we had that discussion.
And do not have a skill set.
And that's my problem with the whole thing.
It's some people who not,
It's a lot of inconsistencies,
Right.
how many people were getting these salaries based on what the job description required. And that's something we have to look at, and I understand that. But I'm just gonna tell you, in the fire department, when I came in, I noticed in the fire department, and I've been trying, if you noticed, in 1990, those positions were neck and neck. But through the years, there's been a slight disparity. I'm trying to deal with a slight disparity. But the problem is not just with the fire department, it's taking the fire department and comparing their skill set, their degrees, and their seniority compared to other departments that are issues too, and we can discuss that
Right.
in an executive session.
right, but those other towns are at 137, right, 137 DPW over here behind us, what's that, Park Forest and right. Tonight, I don't think $2,000 or $4,000 will kill Director Byers or Chief Chelios to make it fair.
And let me just make this comment when it comes to that, because this budget is an overall budget, it's not about individuals. And one of the problems that we do have in this community, that I know for a fact, we have favorites. And if people's qualifications don't match up with the job description, we force them in there for our own intended purposes, instead of letting them qualifications stand on themselves. Certain positions, like I know that the fire department, as a chief, you have to have certain credentials. And I know that as a former public works person, I know as a director, should have a degree in civil engineering, should be Microsoft Excel, should have mapping, should have a variety of different other things. So we got to get away from the personal stuff. These are the salaries that they have accepted. That is
No, Mayor, since you've been gone for 2 years, for executive sessions, many nights, that, like, I'm like Curtis, if that clock was on the wall, we was in here 1 in the morning trying to fix things right. $4,000, and now this ain't personal, everybody in this village seen how your fire department is operating like it should, your public works director is, his staff is understaffed. And you got your public works director, his engineering degree won't matter because for 80,000, he's out here on the public way when we have other, he's working.
So are you saying we should privatize?
I didn't say it. Did I say private? I'm saying compensate those who need to be compensated. It's not fair. Here's a good point. Someone can stand up the podium and say, trustees should be having, and they should, what I took, 5,300?
It's an investment in the community.
So is he. So I'm just saying tonight, 2 salaries definitely need to be made like they're supposed to be. So I'm gonna make a motion and a number on it, but Ms. E, we have to fix this. Your police chief, she ain't coming here hollering and no, we need to get like other towns and do it right. Now I'm gonna finish what I started from 2017. Some people may disagree, some people agree, but we have been doing this and making it right. I'm just saying the next budget year as trustees, we need to make sure we look at their salaries. They paid the price. You know what they did? The board before me told them, you gotta write, not board, excuse me, the village manager. That village manager.
Who was that?
I don't know, it might have been John Townsend. I can't remember. John Townsend or Bowler. One of them, no, Bowler. One of them said, you have to redo you have to take a salary cut. Right. One of them told said salary cut. And it doesn't make sense that these people are coming, they got to fight their way back.
Well, that's okay, we're gonna be all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I just want the trustees to know what I experienced.
Okay? With trustee, I would say,
That's why I take that extra exception you told me every time I come to the board meeting.
I do both. So listen, let me just tell you this. Then make your motions and your adjustments, because I don't think that.
That's it. That's the only thing.
I don't think.
Except I think did we include the 20? We didn't.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah.
Okay, that's the only thing. I just want those two salaries to be right, and I'm just asking the trustees because I'm not gonna sit up here and give somebody money. Or no, I'm saying as every village. This is something I've never seen in this village. When you go to a municipality, everybody has a starting salary, right? Why we don't have that?
We do.
We have,
What's the
consistent salary?
So say if Director Bob is retired tomorrow, or Chief Jelly is like retired tomorrow, what's the starting salary? Boom.
Oh, for the public works director?
Either
Oh,
or.
qualified public works.
Oh, why you keep just squeezing qualified in there?
Because that's what we have to do. Instead of getting people that's going to run our missions, run our errands, walk around, be informants, walk around, say they're doing this, they're not doing this. We need professional people to change the scope of this community. And I'm
glad you didn't hire them.
I'm glad I didn't because I never would have. And I'll tell you this, that if we start making our community and people start matching up with their credentials to the criteria, we won't even have this doggone discussion anymore.
No, let me say
We
this.
won't have this discussion.
Let me say this.
Because trustee James always tell me, man, Mr. Mayor, you got all these people to make these money, man, qualified to do squat. How do you paying all these people this nonsense? So, you know, so let's not get.
Yeah, let me do mine, and I'm gonna give it back to you, because I didn't get to that one.
Yeah, we see.
Madam Clerk, I just wanted to make my, I don't know if I need to make a motion on that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make a motion for animal control set at 30,000. The fire chief, 115. DPW, the director, 85. Now, let me,
Has all these trees been cut down? My
we
neighbor,
got,
my neighbor across the
we,
street have been trying to get her dead tree cut down.
About that when you was down at that restaurant, but we need an audit here. We need a personal audit, HR audit in this whole town.
trustee, let me say this. If we want to budget that tonight, we can do it too. Here's one thing I can say. If you put it on the agenda, that you ask for it, we can get it done. We all, this village is moving, we paved that whole street last year. Only thing I have to say is everything takes time. We'll get it done. We'll get it done. Yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk. You want me to get the total on that? Or you want me to?
We have also, we're looking at the trees, is it on village property or their personal property?
Village is
Yeah, we got a list of them.
Okay.
So I've got this animal control, 30,000. Fire chief, 115.
They need an audit,
DPW,
HR audit.
85,000. That's as far as you got to say.
Yes, and
Another question for you.
Can we get a second on this motion to it?
do I not supposed to wipe the mic off when I'm finished?
So let's go.
If I just want to ask you a question, can I?
Yeah, question.
I want to ask, trustee Brooks, I'm gonna take your advice, this is your expertise. Should we prioritize, animal control officer over, crime-free housing officer? I know with the amount of, people that we have moving into the community, there's a lot of guns moving into the community. I know that animals are an issue as well, but if we're talking about increasing the police department's budget, my thinking is that we need to focus on crime-free housing and get these guns off the streets. So I'll take your advice, because I know this is your expertise, but I think that
How fast you want me to talk on that? Because it's actually, you know, trustee, because if I'm not mistaken, we already got that budget, right? Or,
We passed the ordinance to start applying for ordinance, organization, but we don't have the boots on the ground.
We don't have it budgeted. We have the ordinance.
We can pass the ordinance, but we don't have a budget, and that is something that's vitally important, because Trustee Franklin says, they come in here, but we realize it's not.
yeah, so,
We need boots
so,
on the ground.
yeah, so actually it's two things, trustee, that the village as a board, we already did. And that is, even with this, when we passed this, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. E, Chief Wilson had already, did the grant for the community police went through already? I think you applied for 4 to 5. How did that come out?
We haven't gotten confirmation approval for it yet. We anticipate something. We haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
And as I understand, we approved this amount, does not come.
Okay, so trustee, that's already in there. The only thing we need as far as that is the bodies, meaning that the officers are state certified. And I also did my homework behind that too. What it is now is that the state, with police officers and their conduct, they're so strict. I think even now, Chief Wilson, even when an officer leaves to go somewhere, they have to go through this strenuous process. But if I'm not mistaken, the Police and Fire Commission, they're working on a list. It's just a matter of us hiring, because if I'm not mistaken, I heard it was a shooting this weekend. Yeah, so we don't have the personnel, and the reason why, and we just don't have the personnel. We working still with 2 to 3 on the street, and I'm not trying to be funny. But we still have backup. We have Moni, we have Preet, because they all in the same band. But my dream is to have us to have 4 to 5 each shift. So, and I think we're going to get there with the community policing grant, because for 3 years we don't have to pay for that officer. So it's just a matter of the government giving us that. And if I'm not mistaken, them applied for that about 2 months ago or something.
That's a reimbursable, or is it straight funding?
Straight funding. That's how I became on the job. That was under Bill Clinton. So this is under Biden.
But we have to pay the initial dollar.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's some money involved.
But that's.
Right, but it's
They don't send us any money, they,
3 years salary.
yeah.
Right, they take care of 3 years salary. Right,
We've done that before, yeah.
right,
Yeah, we've done that.
right.
So,
It's time to go.
yeah, no, just make your motions and.
That's no,
Okay, wait a minute. Sure.
We got a question. Amendment to the budget.
Yes.
just those 3 things.
Okay.
Say it again, so you can put it right.
Okay.
Control 30,000.
30,000,
Salary for the fire chief at 115,000.
115,
Salary for the director.
85.
85.
Ms. E, never mind, I'll leave that alone.
Yes, I see.
Right,
Okay, that,
I'll talk to you more on that.
so that's your motion, trustee?
Yes, ma'am, and that's it for me on this, on my portion of the budget.
Okay.
Everything else, I think, right.
We need a second.
So there's a motion by trustee Brooks to amend the budget. Second by trustee, Sonia Bell Jenkins. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
This is under motion to amend the budget.
Yes.
Trustee Lewis. Trustee Franklin. Trustee Colton. Trustee McFadden.
Votes no.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Votes aye.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Mayor Rudy.
Votes no.
That motion failed.
Okay. Is there a motion now? There's a motion. Trustee? Okay.
As I'm looking at the budget, I have a question for Ms. Ernestine in reference to the grounds and the maintenance.
Can you bring the mic up, son?
Trustee, no, man. I will be back. Just back to the.
I'm looking on page 20, and I'm looking at how the grounds maintenance was reduced. from 90,000, this is under public works, to 30,000. We need our fields, we need things done, and I'm trying to see why was there a reduction in that, can you explain?
So this is clear. So,
Ground maintenance, what does the ground maintenance?
So-
Parks and facilities, which category do you look at?
Yeah.
And maintenance, streets, vehicles, street lights, and the.
Oh, you're looking at all of it.
Right, and all of that.
Okay, maintenance, see, we looked at, what we did, looked at 20, we went, but what we're budgeting is, we're not reducing it, we're increasing it.
Yeah.
We're increasing it $16,000. When you get, we're reducing it. We didn't reduce it, we increased it.
Maintenance building is right.
We didn't increase, we didn't.
I might have one.
Trustee Carter. Maintenance building and grounds. Maintenance building and grounds. Is that 30?
Page 20, yeah, you heard it right. We're looking at the same thing. Yes, what it should be way more than that.
It went down.
Okay, we're looking at
What it was wasn't even enough.
Under what?
It should be way more than that.
last year, we had 30,000.
Right.
This year, for this budget, we increased it to 50,000. So that was an increase of $20,000.
Which one you got?
She's reading a different thing.
You read something different.
I don't know
Yes,
if
I had-
I can read it.
No,
Yeah, so it's increase.
Building manager's reading more than we, and
This is.
Okay, now, if you want to go down,
building and grounds.
right, when you talk about the fee of maintenance, that's based on contractual arrangements we got. Last year, what was done last year, it was budgeted $60,000. But our contractual was $50,000, so it's based on a contract, so that's what we have in here is $50,000.
She's referring to the section right above that, where it's like maintenance, building and grounds.
Maintenance and material and supply.
Right.
Maintenance, building and grounds.
Grounds. It says maintenance, building, and grounds.
We're on page 20.
It's 455.008, the code. Right.
Okay, we did, as you see, we did,
It's down to, it says 2022, $30,000. 2021, $30,000. And 2020 was $90,000. Right.
because we played it.
It needs to go back to the original.
We replaced all the people. We hired 2 people.
Oh, okay, we got people salaries.
Now, also, Ms. Augustine, I wanted to ask, I'm really glad you understand another question. From my understanding, this was given out on December of last year to the employees. They received some form of monetary gift.
Is that has nothing to do with billing, so we're not.
Wait, no, I do need to answer my question. Was it reflected in the budget? So you're not gonna answer the question. So what's the question?
What's the question, Trustee?
The question was, did you give out these gifts in December of 20 for Christmas? And are they gonna get the same this year? Is it gonna be budgeted in again? That's the question.
The money did not come from the village.
The monies did not,
So did not come from the village, the village did not pay 1 penny.
May I answer that question? If it's money given to our employees, don't we have ordinance that says that they can only get set amount?
No, there's no ordinance.
That is, it is an ordinance, and it's
It's not an ordinance to that effect.
You're not the attorney.
as a gift.
Well, there is a gift ban.
It's a gift. Okay.
I don't know what, I don't know the situation.
For elected officials,
No,
No,
It could,
and it could be for staff as well.
it can be just that. So what I'm trying to ask you, Mr. Village Manager, is when she gave out these gifts, did you ask our board if it was okay? And did you put it in the budget? That's what I want to know.
And I don't see it there.
I don't see it, I'm not seeing it reflected, so I'm trying to ask the question, did you?
Let me just tell you again.
Answer the question. Answer the question, I'm asking or no?
Ms. Morgan.
I'm asking.
Money did not come from the village. It did not pass.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no.
It went directly the way it went. It didn't deal with the village. It had nothing to do with the village.
Okay,
Treasurer account, right?
Manager.
Answer your account.
Let's have some order in here.
I'm just asking about the budget. I didn't want to do
Ms. Dinkelfeld, I just wanted, because I missed your question.
Okay.
Could you ask your question as to the village manager? What did, because all I got was if she gave the gifts to the employees, but I didn't get the whole content.
I asked the village manager to give the gifts to the employees that this year without crossing the board. And if we're gonna do it again, let's do it right. And let it cross the board and we can get it. Because my question is this, and these are my concerns. My concern is if we gave our employees, which are public employees, a gift over whatever the amount is that is state statute or law, is that going to put them in any form of jeopardy or breaking the law? We need to know these things. That's what I'm asking. And I'm asking who gave the gift? Because we need to know. If you gave money to our employees, we need to know where the money came from, how much was given, and who determined who got what. Because if their names were given out to an entity that is giving them gifts, then the board should have to agree to release any of their information. So they can get these gifts. We're not saying don't give it to them. What we're saying is did it come across this board to give it to them, and where did it come from? It could be El Chapo's money. We don't know whose it is. We don't know who got it. We don't know anything, nothing about it. So can we answer all of the employees? We don't know. It could be clean themselves. We don't know what money. When you're dealing with our employees, we have to know what is going on. And if it's going to be in the budget again this year, so we can say Merry Christmas.
No.
So, now my question to you is who gave our employees the money?
I can't tell you that.
So you took money from somebody and you accepted money. So you just gave their names out without their consent or the consent of the board.
What I did, I sought legal advice prior to this meeting.
Well, who did you talk to legally about this? And they didn't tell you to.
Because our lawyers know about this.
Mr. Campbell,
I'm trying to get to the bottom of
But
this.
you not, this not your conversation.
Okay.
Pass your turn.
I'm
Pass your turn.
asking because we have a state statute and law that says that they can't take over $75. And the rate I found out about this, it wasn't $75. How much is it? How much is our order?
Chapter 24.
How much is our order?
It's by state statute, it's not.
Okay, well, we call them.
No, but we don't.
You have the lawyer right there. So how about some legal, jargon?
I don't know what was given here, so I can't give legal advice. I don't know the situation.
Generalities.
Mr. Morgan, I asked you over and over again, please stop hollering out.
Okay, well, let's pull the money out of the equation. Who gave you the okay to give any of our employees information out? Did you get the consent to give their telephone, their name, and so they can receive the gift? Or was it a gift that just didn't have their names on it? It was just a gift card, for instance. So if it was a gift card, that's wonderful, because you didn't release any of their information out. So what I'm trying to understand is, was it a gift card, or was it a check, or maybe a cashier's check?
Well, you know what, trustee and Manager Reed, we'll deal with that issue. Since it's a personal issue, we're gonna table that, we're gonna take that into an executive session, because that's where it should be held at, when it comes to personnel.
No. A lot of
Ms.
stuff.
Moore, I ask you over and over again, I wish that you would just please respect that chair and stop yelling out. You've
I
had
wish that you would respect us as residents. You take things into executive session, and you don't bring us back with information.
Where's the police? Is that no police? You're gonna stop.
That's what I want to know.
You had your chance. We're going to do that in executive session. Any other budget questions regarding this one?
We don't need to go to executive session. We need to be in executive session. If they were getting it again.
Well, it seems like it's a consensus, no one's getting no Christmas bonuses. All right? And-
Talk about last year.
If they get it, man, just put it in the budget.
Yeah, that's
That's what
it.
we want to do. This is the right thing, put it in the budget, and this is done deal.
I'm
Hold
getting
on,
nervous.
wait.
No.
No, okay, so that's it. Is that the trustee?
I do want to make a motion if I can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to make a motion to increase the line item for the sports programs to up to 18,000 for all three programs.
No, not trustee. Let Madam Clerk get her thing together.
I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
So that's 6 times.
I'd like to make a motion to increase the line item
Make a motion to amend the budget.
to amend the budget to reflect 18,000 for the sporting programs. I'm sorry, don't put sports programs, put youth programs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Youth programs, youth activities, yeah.
Finance.
No, we just say, just be cool for a minute.
The good manager giving out, money to all our residents, all
I
our.
was asked to be out here. I asked you over and over, as respectful as I possibly can. Please do not. No, please, I ask you respectfully, please do not choke out the honor from y'all. Let us come up with this. I know it's hard. We're gonna get that done.
So each program will get up to $6,000 in reimbursement, so they'll have to submit a sheet.
That's good. Yeah, because you remember when we played.
That's a motion, it needs a second.
We never got it. That's okay. Okay, there's a motion and a second. There's a motion and a second by trustee Franklin, there's a second by trustee Lewin. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
This is,
There's a motion on the floor and a second. Trustee Franklin has made a motion to increase each program to have 6,000 with a grand total of 18 for youth activities. It's been seconded by trustee Lewis. May I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk,
Which line is that?
this is to amend.
to amend
the
the
budget.
youth program where it was
I thought
set.
they agreed to 20.
Each one will get 6 apiece. It's an updated motion.
You didn't want to go
You
to 20,
did
trustee?
not include that.
You did not include that.
Huh?
Come on, roll call.
Roll call.
Trustee Lewis. Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden. Trustee McFadden.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks. Trustee Brooks.
Oh, both sides.
Mayor did.
Both sides. And that too, we can get it there. We'll get there.
I don't know. You down to the lot these days.
Okay.
That was an easy one.
It's gonna be a ton.
You might get a field 50.
The number,
All right. So is that? All right. Madam Clerk, roll call on the budget. We had a first and a second. We had questions by trustee Brooks. We had the question by trustee Jenkins. We had the motion, amendment by Brooks. It failed. We had the motion by by Franklin and passed. So now we've had first and a second on the second and third reading of the budget. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk. As amended.
Thank you.
As amended.
Trustee Lewis.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden.
Both sides.
Trustee McFadden.
Both sides.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Votes no.
Trustee Brooks.
Votes no.
Mayor Rudy.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor. That's approved. Ordinance number is 2021-11.
What was approved?
All right, budget.
Item E1B, the last item on the agenda, appointment of Chair of Board of Police and Fire Commission, Edward Bradley. Is there a motion? Moved by Trustee Karen Lewis, trustee by Sherry Bowden. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Lewis.
Both sides.
Trustee Franklin.
Both sides.
Trustee Bolden. Trustee McFadden.
Votes no.
Trustee Jenkins Bell.
Votes no.
Trustee Brooks.
Votes no.
Mayor Rudy.
Both sides. Welcome aboard, Chief Bradley, as the Chair of the Police and Fire
Motion
Commission.
carries.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Moved by Brooks, second by McFadden. All in favor? Opposed? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Oh, by the way, let me make a couple of real quick announcements. On Tuesday, November 23rd, 12 o'clock to 3 p.m. at Governor State, door D, as many turkeys as they can give away. Bring all your residents and your friends. Again, Tuesday, November 23rd at Governor State University. And Saturday at Faith Movers. Thanksgiving, turkeys, dinners, Saturday, November 20th, from 10 a.m. to 12 at Faith Movers. Oh, they take reservations. But Governor